Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Blood, Sweat, and Fears podcast. We are in full swing in spooky season now, and I am once again joined again by Alan J. How are you doing, pal?
I'm doing great, Dean. Thank you. I forgot to prepare a pun today. I'm very sorry.
Oh, fucking hell. The one time we need you for puns for the intro, and you fucking tit.
Well, I recently discovered a red vegetable. I found out it's very beneficial to my body. From my head to my toes.
I'm instantly regretting it now.
I want a pun that relates to the movie, no? You have until the end of the podcast.
And joining us, we have one of my favourite comics on the Scottish circuit to gig with, a very good friend and hilarious comedian. Please welcome Kate Hammer.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited.
It's great to have you here. Like, I knew when I started this, like, I've seen you on pods before, and you are a really fun podcast guest. So I was really hoping you were also a horror fan. And when you said you wanted to do this movie, I'm like, not only is she a horror fan, but she picked a fucking baller film to start with.
Why did you pick Malignant?
Look, I feel like Malignant.
It's hard to say, I know.
It's hard to get through emotionally. I feel like Malignant picked me. I first watched this in theaters with my friend who not dragged me to it, but it was like it's not like I wouldn't go to theaters to watch horror because I like it at home with your friends when you can all scream together and in one room. And you can always pause it because I get quite physically stressed out. So if it gets too much, you have a safety. But yeah, we went to the theater to watch it. So it was it's just the freshest in my mind of being quite flabbergasted by being like, there's so many, what is this? What were they trying to do? But I'm enjoying it either way. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I can just gush for a moment, this is... I didn't think this was going to be the first James Wan film that we ever did in this podcast. I was expecting us to do Saw or Insidious or The Conjuring, but...
Yeah, I never saw this coming.
Well, James Wan's one of those directors where it's I always love seeing his work because you can tell you're watching a person who just loves horror.
Yeah.
And you can feel the love for the craft in almost every frame. And I think it's kind of similar to us when we see a comedian that we love. Say, if you're watching a headliner comic who you can clearly tell loves comedy and they're just having so much fun on stage, they're feeding that back into the audience. Immediately coming to mind is CMB, Susie McCabe, those kind of people. And James Wan does that for horror. You can tell he just loves the genre with everything he's done from Saw, Insidious, The Conjuring. Even in a sense, he did the best Fast and Furious movie, arguably. I thought Aquaman was really fun, despite some people on the internet disagreeing. And with this, it's just he gave us something that we've been starved for ages in horror. We haven't had an iconic horror villain in so long. So not on Jason or Freddy level, but Gabriel is one scary motherfucker.
And that's why he said he wanted to do it, right? He was like, I want to make a film that, harkens back to the ones when I was a kid that felt fun to watch and felt that someone was enjoying making it.
Oh, absolutely. And when I first saw this in theaters as well, I don't usually get shocked by twists in movies. But he finally, he upgraded the Hello Zep twist from Saw and did something even more crazy. I honestly thought it was going to be a ghost or something like that. It felt like kind of a supernatural demon kind of thing. Parasitic twin brother, I did not expect.
Yeah, in the back of her fucking skull.
But upon second watching, they make it very clear. So if you're watching constantly, she's like, it's just in your head. Yeah. It's all in your head, Maddie. And then the amount of shots of the back of her head and just some incredible... Sorry. Are you turning my camera off? None of that. So yeah, because I rewatched it last night with my flatmates. And didn't tell them what it was.
I would love to see people's first reaction to this movie.
Yeah, it was. I mean, this is what I think what I like about it is what also frustrates me about it, where you're just like, what was the intent? Because it's so impossible to pin down, right? Was he trying to make a great film, but you can't with the shots he chose and the script writer. This is the same script writer as who wrote Megan. You're like, what was going on in this one? Why were they making these choices? So they obviously knew what they were doing. They knew they were, everything was a hearken like to a B film. Or did they start off trying to make it really good and then go, let's just make it a B film homage? Who knows?
I think that tone really works for it. Like, I saw someone describe it in a review as like Pazuzu meets a Batman movie. Like, it feels like a comic book almost near the end of it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I think that's what like keeps you watching, but also kept me like this the entire time while watching, which was like, you don't want to watch something that's made to be like bad because you want something to try, and
we've all seen The Room, Kate.
Yeah, and but I feel like The Room, he was honestly making a good film in his opinion. Yeah. So, and that's what makes it beautiful, is this like this intent, and that's what like sometimes you're just like, but are they aware? But they have to be aware because he's like with all the other films he's made. So I don't, that's right.
I think I get that as well. Like, he must have started out thinking maybe like, because I was watching the behind the scenes, and the ideas that they had for it was like, he wanted to do something murder mystery kind of themed, and they've never done a villain where it's like, it's actually the protagonist as well, but they're unaware of it. And see, when I saw when I saw this the first time, and it starts off with that scene of like the abusive boyfriend who like knocks her head back, I knew it had to be something to do with like brainwave stuff. I thought maybe is she creating the guy in her head, and like you see a lot of electricity and like a lot of the rotoscoping effects they do with the filmmaking. Like, maybe she's creating this whole world and she's created this person because. The police officer says, like, you expect me to believe this serial killer is your imaginary friend. Imagine a horror villain that was like an imaginary friend kind of person.
Yeah, I just wish she had a bit more personality. Also, like this actress, she was in The Mummy with Tom Cruise. I feel she's a bit of but she was also in the Annabelle, where she worked with James Wan before, and she was the Grace in Peaky Blinders. Like, she's just such like an interesting actress. Where I'm also like, feels like you've had some weird movie choices in like ones that are just, you're like, The Mummy, that ruined so much. Oh God!
Like, I mentioned this on the Human Centipede episode, but that Mummy movie, the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies are the reason that movie exists. Like, it's trying so hard to be an action-adventure thing when what's the original Mummy film back in the 40s? It's a gothic love story that's kind of tragic and very psychedelic, and then you just have Tom Cruise, like, trying so hard to be Nathan Drake from Uncharted, and it's just embarrassing.
That's one thing I thought about the film. Like, I felt like we've kind of moved away from like kind of using things like domestic abuse and rape and miscarriages like plot devices, and this film's like, he fed off your miscarriages to build himself back up, and it's like, is this an endorsement for like stem cell research? But like,
Gabriel's women in STEM. He was actually Gabriel's the biggest feminist you've never met, and I just think he's ahead of his time.
Gabriel kind of looks like Tommy Wiseau now that I think about it.
I just love how like Maddie enters wearing this like really nicely ruched.
Ruched. Did you just make that word up?
No, that's a it's strung together to show that she's still hot while pregnant. She will not stop touching her belly, so her personality is being pregnant and was once a nurse. She's never again a nurse, just to make but she lives in the biggest house you've ever seen. And then the domestic abuse, and you're just it was a little too it's those lines that are like, when will my children stop dying inside of you? And you're like, okay, so I'm not supposed to like this guy, but there's something about him, and then like that whole sequence happens, and it's still good filmmaking. Like, there's still moments where you're like, oh my God, like, you're yelling at the screen and jump scares, and it works. It's like, it's good. There's still like great filmmaking throughout.
His boyfriend was not bad. I'd happily let him have his kids die inside me.
Well, it's different for you, isn't it?
This is why you have bad luck with relationships, Alan.
That's like the opposite reason. No.
I mean, first you go for a guy who's got an attraction to bendy thumbs, and then you're saying the guy from the beginning of Malignant would be a good boyfriend for you. Are you okay, mate? Like,
no. Never. That's where the puns come from.
oh god.
Trauma.
From a dark place.
Yeah.
Puns are the darkest humor. No one thinks it because they're just light little jokes that everyone can make, but they're fucked up.
Yeah.
You make a pun.
Come from a dark mind.
You're deeply unhappy.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen any previous episodes, but this guy with the pun game, I think there's been a total of like 100 puns ever since we started the thing, and I'm genuinely tempted to make like a compilation of all of them.
You should make a counter for sure.
Oh, when we're famous, someone can do a ranking.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Worst to best.
That'd be fun.
And they're all just worst.
Yeah, worst to worster, yeah.
To be fair, your naive Campbell one was very good.
Thank you.
I'm curious, do you have anything related to this film pun-wise? Like,
We said he has until the end of the episode.
Yeah.
You know, they kept telling her Gabe was fake, but Gabe real. No, put that in the fucking bin.
Are you sore after that stretch? Like,
no, I
Take
use
it back. Puns are for healed, healthy people, such as Alan.
I don't know where you guys class this on like horror killers, but do you like the idea of like a killer who's got like an iconic look, an iconic weapon, and like if you describe them,
I have a
immediately?
question.
Yeah.
Okay, here's this the weapon is great, you know, a medical award of excellence that for some reason Gabriel has a metalworking machine in his workshop, which is we then find out is how many spoilers do we put in?
We were all spoilers.
So, you know, so Maddie's attic is where you keep your heavy metalworking machinery.
Well, like you said, she's a weird person, you know? Like,
Fucked up. So then, great.
I mean, she's adopted. We're all a little bit weird, Kate.
that was also a great moment. To have the reveal of adoption be to your own sister. And like to say it, be like, oh God, my own flesh and blood, you know, I was, I came into your family at 8. And then she looks at her sister and then goes, I was adopted. And you're like, well, if someone was dumb enough not to be like, what do you mean you just came into the family when you were 8? What do you mean? How are you born 8?
That was a painful childbirth.
Well, I mean, with the weird stuff that happens with Gabriel, I wouldn't be surprised if the sequel to it, they have someone born 8 years old.
Yeah.
Like with some Benjamin Button kind of shit.
She'll say that. She's like, I just want to have a blood connection with someone. And then it's like a finger on the monkey's paw just curls. Like, I was wondering, do you have any perspective on that as someone who's adopted, like how this film handles it?
Well, they don't really go into like the whole what it was like growing up in foster care or anything. Like, her being adopted is just sort of a way to show that she's like unconnected to her family in a way, and like she's always searching for that kind of thing. I can confirm that when I was in the foster home, they didn't take me to a medical science place that looks like something out of an H.P. Lovecraft novel.
And that explains why you're here today like this.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I don't know if the camera can see these, but I just want to confirm they're not pajamas, because every time I wear these at a gig, I get told they're pajamas, and they're not.
To be honest, Dean, I haven't seen the back of you. Maybe there is 2 shrimp arms going, cut out the cancer.
It's me and the Glasgow kid.
If you want a blood connection with someone, just have sex on your period. You know, there's much easier ways. Like, just... It's fine.
Do you want to write the sequel for this with that in mind?
Well, it was him and his wife's idea. They wrote the story together. Yeah. Which is like, I know, but then you're also like, maybe I don't. I don't know. It was like, there was a good premise there. I think it's more the dialogue that like kind of did bug me. But also, again, it kept being on the verge of like, you're like, I know everyone here can act and can write better. So what's happening? Is there a prank on me, or am I in on the prank? Anyway, so we got to Gabriel's outfit.
Oh, it's so cool.
The Award of Excellence, Shank, amazing, super sharp, loved it. Where did Gabriel get the long leather jacket and the gloves?
Hot topic.
Yeah, I was thinking
Did he go to Walmart, you know, when he's like bloodied face, and just see like him waiting in line at a Walmart just with those, and then he brings out her card and it declines, and he's like through the speakers like, just try again, you know. I swear to God, there's money on it.
I think we just went to the cat house one too many times and just picked up the look from there.
Well, it's like she didn't have that on hand. So it really is.
Maybe she's a secret mosher and that's why she's so miserable.
Or like this is it. I think the biggest unbelievable thing for me in the whole movie was, why does Gabriel, who was thriving as a shrimp child, as a little, a sentient tumor on the back of her head, ribs and shrimp arms and face. I love how they also didn't remove the face when they cut. They medically pushed his face into her skull and closed it up.
Yeah, like she must have had scars. Like, do you think she just like refused to do doggy style?
It was all her hair covered it up.
Well, yeah, but like it was all on her
back.
back. Like she must have known. Like, oh my God, imagine riding someone doggy style and you just
Oh my
see a
God,
fucking
this
face
movie
come out the back of
isn't
the cranium.
airtight.
I know.
Other than that, it is. I'm actually, because I'm going to bring that up to my friend. I don't think he's thought that through.
Oh, fuck.
Excuse me. But yeah, what is like, when he was the little child, didn't need a costume, and then when he still got removed, cut the cancer out and adopted, he was still in her head, didn't need a costume. But now that he's back, he needs his jacket and gloves so badly that like once she breaks out or he breaks out of jail, the first thing he does is go into the evidence room and get his jacket and gloves, and he's like, now I'm whole again. I'm like, but you never needed that before. And I think that's why I was like, come on, Gabe, just kill people raw dog,
Such a poser.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
See the weapon, like it just said like award for excellence in surgery. Like,
Yeah.
do they have like competitions? Like, oh, your technique's all rang, just on the wee heart.
the surgeon new award, like.
That's not how you handle a prolapse.
You just pushed that one in too.
Oh, God.
I wish they'd kept the snakes on it and not just had the knife, because I think the snakes add a little bit of fear to the weapon. I don't know. I like a cool horror weapon, like Leatherface's chainsaw, Freddy's glove.
Yeah.
The weird medical trophy, like I would have that as a prop in my gaff happily. Maybe not Gabriel's costume, because like I'd get shady looks. He looks like every guy I've met in like a seedy town whose name is Spider selling drugs to kids. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a flasher's coat.
Also, question, why did Gabriel need to turn her body backwards? Which I know he didn't fully, but he did do a shoulder dislocation just so he could run backwards at people. Or frontwards his way, but like her backwards running.
Yeah, that's like a really extreme version of the moonwalk, isn't it?
It's a unique take, and it looks hilarious, but it's hard to keep consistent. Like that stunt guy, kudos,
it was like a contortionist or something. I was
Right?
reading into that. I think it's just to look kind of unnatural and make you question it.
Yeah.
Because as soon as this movie starts and it says that line, let's cut out the cancer, I knew we were in for some like fucking punk rock level horror here. And then it goes into the kind of, so you guys know what I mean when I say Giallo kind of horror? So it's like that weird Suspiria, very colorful.
Yeah.
You're not really supposed to understand it on your first watch, but as like you rewatch it, everything kind of clicks back together. And I love that it does that, but it doesn't feel pretentious. Like that's something James Wan's really good at, is that he can just do really well-made movies that are fun to watch on your first time and good to rewatch later with your brain on. Like, but you still get something out of it, whether your brain's turned off or not.
I wasn't turned on by it.
You just said you were
That's true.
with the husband.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Is Gabriel your type?
No.
He's confident. He knows what he wants. That's what else is like. What was Gabriel's goal, really?
Take over her body, I guess, and just like murder people.
But like, for part of it, yeah, murder. See, and look, I've thought about this a lot. Okay, too much that I resent it. But like, when she's younger, he tries to just kill people that is like taking her away. So I guess he wants full control of her body. But then when he gains it back as the adult, he goes after the doctors and the mom. All makes sense. Personal vendetta, get him. But then there's just the killing of the killing spree of the cops. And you're like, I guess it's because they want to get Gabriel, but like, what is Gabriel's goal?
Gabriel said ACAB. He's one of us.
Honestly, well, which it was part of your like, I like it. This will support this, but it was. I want to be. If Gabriel did win, is he just gonna kill everyone? Is he just after evil? I
think so, yeah. Like they play him as like this really over the top kind of sort of Hammer horror villain where he just wants to kill people. I mean, that is compelling for a lot of horror because like Michael Myers just lives to kill people. Freddy wants to kill people and control their dreams and have fun doing it. It's like I kind of expect that with horror anyway.
Yeah.
Is it ever established how why you can't just permanently take over a body? Does it get weak or something, or?
The
mind's always fighting back, I think.
Yeah, he's the weaker organism on that organism. He's the absorbed twin. So like, yeah. But I guess if he was born his own whole person, would he just be the biggest psychopath ever?
Like, I wonder, why not just like take her over permanently? Then maybe just like once a month he'd be like, right, I'm not dealing with these cramps. You can do it.
Maybe that's it, is he knows what it's like to be in the world of women. And he's like, can't deal with these lady problems.
And that's where Malignant 2 will probably take us.
No.
Malignant 2, myrrh.
Oh, no.
Wow.
You're infecting the guests
That was
now, Alan.
fantastic. I'm so happy.
One of my favorite moments of this, actually, because they said this in the behind the scenes, they had the cops in this to add a little bit of humor to the movie. And then when she's showing the sketch of what Gabriel looks like, it's like, so I'm meant to be looking for Sloth from the Goonies.
She was like such the stereotypical, like unsatisfied black woman, wasn't she?
Pretty much, yeah. Like just I felt like it was kind of a play on like the sort of bored detective
dynamic,
like, yeah, like having fun with it as well as being like the sort of they don't pay me enough for this shit, the coffee at my work is terrible and I'm having to chase down this weird serial killer thing. And also if they're like, so they arrest Maddie later on because they think she's murdered it. If they had known it was Gabriel, how exactly are you going to arrest him? Like you can't really
That's
arrest.
what my flatmates at the end of the film, we all just sat in silence, and then someone was like, we don't get to see the trial? I was like, no. But they're like, but surely she should still be put away. Like, you never know when he's still there. He's always in the back of her head, literally. So, like, someone must have to pay for killing 50 police officers. Also, I forgot to mention, I know someone in this movie.
Is it like a background actor or like a big actor?
He has lines.
Oh, who is it?
He's the cop who says, I put it on your desk earlier. Isn't that why you brought her in? He's the sketch artist guy. Yeah.
Did he actually draw the sketch, or was that really done by the production team?
He didn't know. It was like a computer. It was computer drawn. Anyway, I like didn't overlap with him much in Montreal, but he was from Montreal, so he was a comedian there. Now he lives in LA, but I met him there, and then have seen. He's also in like a children's show on Netflix. Aww. So it was nice to see him post about this, and then my friend be like, "Let's go see the movie." I was like, "Wow, I'm connected to Hollywood," And I watched the movie, and I'm like, "Huh. I guess this still counts as Hollywood."
I would love to see you in a James Wan movie, Kate.
I'd fully commit. I'd do whatever the fuck he wanted.
Yeah, that
like not in the movie. I mean, like, no way. No.
I agree. No, but what was it? Yeah, they had that digital aging up of her, didn't they? That was very fucking generous and spot on. It was like, take this and age it up 30 years.
Oh my god!
It took me back to those like shows, like in like Embarrassing Bodies or like How to Feed Your Kids, with like, if your child keeps eating rubbish, this is what they're gonna look like in 30 years, and they're just like decrepit. And they're like, oh my
showing
god,
kids that's gonna scar them.
It's like, I would hate my wins if they were ugly. I enjoyed that.
This movie proves that because the real mum does not want Gabriel anywhere in her fucking life.
She apologizes.
After, like, he's tried to hunt and kill her down. I would be apologizing too.
If you were 15 and had a baby like that with ribs on the outside and it's shrimp arms. I'm finding no other way to describe these things.
I mean, my real mum was 16. I don't know why she gave me up for adoption, to be honest. But if if I was like that, then I could understand it, you know. I wouldn't turn to Gabriel. I would be like, yeah, I get you, Shelley. You're fine.
But that's good. You didn't have shrimp arms.
I did not have... Well, I was 2 years old. I maybe did. I would have shrimp arms compared to now.
Let's check your back. We'll check your back for scars later.
That's why I grow my hair out.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite part of the my favorite part of this movie, I'll say that so many times though, is that just to make sure you know the family connection is there, her and her mom have the same haircut. Don't you love that?
Yeah.
And her when she's younger, same haircut. I love how someone just has a fringe for life.
Hashtag bangs for life.
Yeah, exactly.
I love
The
how
hair's
also
genetic.
when she's younger, they're showing off that Gabriel's kind of controlling her, but the worst they can come up with is that he took a little bit of icing off a cake. Kids do that all the time.
And then he tricks her into thinking she's gonna cut a piece of cake when then she was gonna stab her mom's
okay, that I can
brain.
understand, but
transition
she
was
got
incredible.
She
It
got
was a
sent
quick
to her room for the
escalation.
cake, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, kids do that all the time. Stop being so strict.
It was because she was blaming it on Gabriel. But that came right after her parents were like, we just thought if we gave you enough love, you'd stop making up Gabriel. And then it cut to flashback of them being like, you took some icing off the cake, go to your room. You're like, I'm not sure that you loved her as much as you thought you did.
Which brings me on to a nice wee segment I thought would be fun for this movie. What's the most inconsequential thing you did as a kid that you got in trouble for?
God. I got in trouble for everything.
Yeah, I've heard your puns. I can see why.
I thought you were going to say God is what you did as a kid. That's a pretty big one.
Just really loved the Bible when he was growing up.
I don't know, but I remember when I was 5, I pissed on a neighbour's door and no one ever found out.
Why'd you do it?
I never even met the guy. I just got told he was a grumpy old man, and I thought, well, I'm going to piss on your door.
You never even met him?
No, sorry, Mr. Bibb.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Probably
Whatever,
needs a
you
bib if you're pissing on
Do
his
you think
door.
he's dead? Huh? Do you think he's dead now?
Yeah, probably. I did it with my wee girlfriend at the time.
That's quite a weird first date option, not gonna lie. And I took a date to a comedy show yesterday, so
And piss on an old man's door.
no, we did not. No, we just went out for drinks, and then Daniel Petrie, friend of the show, we love him so much, refers to my date in the audience as my wife, and she looked
Aw.
fucking mortified for a second.
As your wife or
Yeah.
his wife?
Not my wife.
Oh, God.
Because I was like backstage saying, oh yeah, I brought a Tinder match with us. It's kind of a date. And Daniel's like, oh, I'm going to address her in my set. And like, please don't. And because he's a fucking conniving motherfucker, he did.
So enough about Malignant. How was your date? Will there be a second?
There will be a second. Yes, that's all I'll say.
How well did it go? Let me smell your fingers.
No.
Fucking A.
It went pretty well, yeah. I think I'm going to get a second date. We got along good. Also
Not
a
if
horror
she
fan.
sees
So.
this.
What?
Not if she sees this.
Oh Jesus! She actually does watch the podcast. She when we first matched together, she watched a couple of episodes of it, and this is a quote from fuck it, I'll just say it, a quote from Kirsty. I think you're too cute to podcast. Which is the weirdest compliment I've ever been given, because I'm like, is that sort of like code for you want me to stop doing the podcast, or do I have to cut my hair and get ugly, or like what do you want from me, like?
No, that's a lovely thing to say. I think it just means like compared to other podcasters, maybe. You know, you're too cute. You don't need to get a personality through podcasting. You have a good enough one, is what I think she's saying.
Did I get anything, or was it just no? He's definitely good for podcasting.
No, that feels right. It feels right.
To be fair, I did tell her some of your puns on the date, and she was amused. So, but
What are like Machiavellian? She was amused.
yeah, but you're gay. You don't date girls anyway, so
I know.
Sorry,
One
ladies.
day, clitoris. I will find
Did you go up and slap Daniel across the face? When
I
he
did
said,
not know, because it
Keep my
actually
wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Defend your woman.
No. I'm not like that on dates. Like the whole defend your woman thing is just weird
What'd
to
he
me.
say? What'd he say?
He just he was doing a bit about like couples and stuff on the stage, and he says like, oh, this goes out to Dean and his wife in the corner. My Daniel Petrie impression needs to get better, but
It's
like
pretty good.
Oh, the
pretty
Glasgow
good.
husband.
what?
The Glasgow husband.
Oh God, no.
Put on your cake.
So, Kate, we never found out what you did as a kid that you got in trouble
I'm
for.
thinking, to be honest, I feel like there's so many injustices. Do you like?
Well, you grew up on a farm, so I'm expecting some wild stuff.
Three older brothers, and so I feel like my mom had used up all her patience upon the three boys and them doing stuff. So it just felt like, yeah. I think the worst. I can't think of like a specific one necessarily, but the worst ones is when you would try to explain what happened, but your parent would just go, "I don't care." You you have a timeout, and you're like, and that. Like the feeling of that injustice, like still stays with me today. Of like, you're not even gonna let me communicate, you witch. You know?
Oh, so that's why you sympathize with Gabriel. He wasn't allowed to communicate.
I know, honestly.
One of my earliest memories was finding a jelly bean, putting it in my mouth, and being like, "This jelly bean's disgusting." And then I found out it was just like one of my parents' drugs, and like. My mom was like, "Alan, get that out your mouth," and I was like,
"What do you mean drugs?"
Oh, they were into drugs. They were very into drugs.
But you thought so? Okay.
Yeah, it looked like a jelly bean. I was very young, and I thought, that tastes weird. And I was like, "Is she concerned about me, or is it just that I've stolen her drugs?"
Knowing what how you've talked about your mom previously, I would say maybe a mix of both, but leaning more towards
My
the other
drugs.
one.
I'm glad I went first because you can't really beat that.
Oh, please just give us something wholesome, Kate, to help us back.
Is pissing on a man's door not wholesome for you?
No, not really. That's just that's weird, man.
I used to have to pay money if we used the Lord's name in vain growing up.
Oh man!
So if you said, "Oh my God," my mom would make you pay a quarter.
You can't.
Yeah.
She's cutting into your arcade time.
Honestly.
Did they have arcades when you grew up?
Sometime, no. Are you kidding me? You would train a goat to follow you, and they do. Or one time, we worked out a system where like. So we didn't get much allowance, but, it was like a quarter every chore or task you did, let's say. And then we realized as kids, it was like, oh, so if I don't do the task, then I don't get the money. And what if I'm just fine with that? So, okay, I just won't do it. And then my mom was like, okay, well then you'll get charged money if you don't do the chores. So if you don't load the dishwasher, you actually will owe me money. So some months would end and I would owe her $5. And I'm like, where do you think I'm getting this alternate income from? We have dial-up internet. Like you can't use the phone and the internet at the same time. Can't sell anything. So yeah, I was down in negative college fund by the time I was 10. Because I didn't have one, but I ate into that invisible money. And that's what I'm still
Does Canada not have free education?
No.
No.
Because I thought you guys had free healthcare over there.
Yeah, we have free healthcare. I'll be honest with you, it's way better here.
Oh.
People always, they're like, Canada. It's like, because you compare it to the States, which is awful.
Yeah.
But it's like, I get faster appointments here. Dental is covered. That's insane. But no, university, absolutely not free. Very much, so much money.
And this is why we're all comedians, because fuck university.
Oh, I went there.
Oh,
I went to I have a master's degree.
Oh, I didn't know this. In what?
TV writing.
Oh, wow.
Oh, fair fucks to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you've done a lot of TV stuff anyway. Haven't
Yeah,
you?
I work in it right now.
Fuck yes. Oh, yeah. Are you allowed to say where you work or?
Yeah, but I won't.
Just trying to think of like what's the weirdest possible TV channel that you could be working for. CBeebies, because it's not on the air anymore.
Aw.
Like you're secretly just reviving it in the background.
Yeah, I do that on my own money, my own time. I make my own children's show. But I
All
mean,
on
that's
the
just what
quarters that
YouTube
your mom
is
took
now,
you
right?
for.
It's like you don't need a police check to start your own YouTube channel for kids. It's crazy.
Oh,
You're just
wow.
like, you got a grown men just being like, hello,
God.
kids. And then then they do live tours, and you're like, I don't know, but like, I don't think Brian should be doing shows to kids, but no one's checked.
The ones where it's like, because I've got younger cousins and stuff, and I'll see these videos where it's like, it's clearly a family has made it up as like, oh, we're going to play hide and seek with our kids, or we're playing cops and robbers with our kids, and they put it up on the internet. They get like 5 million views, and it's just, imagine how fucking traumatized these kids are going to be when they grow up.
Yeah.
100%.
It takes the Spider-Man and Elsa thing to a whole fucking different level. Like, were you around for that? The fucking Spider-Man and Elsa stuff?
I know the words you're saying,
What?
but maybe not the context you want me to.
So it's sort of this weird like rabbit hole I went into when I looked at like horror conspiracy things for YouTube. There's a lot of videos of these actors in just like fan-made stupid, like you'd buy at a Halloween shop, Elsa and Spider-Man costumes, and there's like a sort of weird fan fiction love triangle going on with them, and I don't know who makes them, but they're weird as fuck.
Well, who's the third in the triangle?
I have no idea. Like,
it's just fan fiction? Yeah, anyone can make that.
Gabriel, I guess. Yeah, Spider-Man, Elsa, and Gabriel. That's the fan fiction I want to
I
see.
suppose kissing him would be like going down someone on their period.
I don't think he has a lower set of teeth.
Yeah, it looks kind of like in Fright Night when Chris Sarandon like shows off his vampire teeth. It gave off that kind of vibe. And I do respect that a lot of it was done practically, because it would have been so easy to make Gabriel CGI, especially with James Wan's fucking budget.
This film had a very underdeveloped love triangle between the hot detective and like the sister and like, you know, the police officer, who's obviously hideous because she has a ponytail and glasses. But then like the sister has like her big dress and her long blonde hair, and just like, that doesn't
She's
go anywhere.
gorgeous.
The
she's
sister
beautiful, but,
definitely
like,
also put a lot of herself into it. She was inserting herself into the situation quite a lot. Like the one line I've not forgetting is like, "Oh, if you don't believe my sister, you can put the cuffs on me." And she's saying it to the officer that she clearly fancies. Like, fucking hell, way to reveal your kinks there, sister. Like,
yeah, that was definitely an invitation.
Everyone loved that police officer, and they're not wrong.
he is an attractive man, but he works
Yeah.
for the police. So
Yeah.
it's like
A great moment. My other favorite moment of the film is when the two main cops are down. She has like a stab wound across her belly, and he's got hit by a chair. The chair throw. Sorry, to take a step back. The backwards.
That was fucking fantastic.
And then the speed and velocity that chair took, and then wiped out two people, which apparently made it impossible for them to leave, which was a very convenient thing. But anyway, they get knocked out by this chair, and then the evidence, whatever woman who has a crush on him, comes at, like, sees the two officers and goes, "Oh my God," and then sees him and goes, "Oh my God." And you're like, that's consistent character. Like, this is what
it's like that one scene in
truth and
Troll
honesty.
2, the "oh my God" thing.
Oh my God. They should give him some more quips. Like when he did that, it should have been like, "Here, take a seat."
Oh yes, that's true.
Well, Gabriel does have that kind of personality of like a quippy sort of killer.
Yes.
Like he's got that Chucky Freddy thing. And I should give a shout out, because I'm also a voice actor, Ray Chase, who voices him, who was also Noctis in Final Fantasy 15. And I think he's voicing Cyclops in the revival of the X-Men animated series. You did a fucking good job. Like, I'm struggling to do a Gabriel impression because like it's that unique to me. I've never heard a voice like that from a horror killer.
It was also through several filters most of the time, because it was through like radios and stuff.
Yeah.
So-
The working with technology thing, I'm still trying to wrap my head around.
Yeah.
Like, for
Yeah, they
some
never
reason, he
explain that.
has the powers of a supervillain for some reason.
Yeah, I feel like the reason why Gabriel doesn't do puns throughout the movie is because he's actually not that traumatized. Not as traumatized as Alan, at least.
Well, you know, this film, a lot of interesting political things we talked about. You could speak as a woman, you can speak as someone who's adopted, and I can speak as someone who's had a lot of strange men inside me.
Another great moment
Oh, yeah.
is when the sister's driving to the children's hospital, right?
Right.
Midday, bright sun. She turns the corner, she sees this, Harry Potter-esque looking building. She's only, we can see it, she's maybe a 15-minute drive away from it. She pulls up to it, midnight, full moon, completely dark. And you're like, what happened? Did you pull over for some food? Like, what? Where did the hours go? Why did they choose to make it so bright and then full midnight? She's like, I don't feel comfortable going inside unless it's night, Just for her to walk around with her flashlight. But yeah, that was just, that cut, just full laughter in the room last night.
I
Brought
do
the house
love
down.
the way that it just embraces that goofy haunted house on a hill kind of
Yeah.
aspect, I don't think any buildings like that exist in the real world, but I like seeing it in movies. Like,
Yeah.
I would love to see like where this movie goes in a sequel, because like the first, I compare it to like how the first Saw is, like you only really see that one jigsaw layer and they only do like one sort of trap, and then in the sequels, of course, of Saw, they just go all out with the traps. I want to see like people go all out with the concept of Gabriel. Like, there's so many different directions you could take it.
The movie lost $5 million So I don't think they're going to make a second.
Yeah, this feels like something that would usually never get made, but only because
he's James Wan, and he made so much money for that, like for everything else. But I think the budget was 40 million, and I think it made like 34 point something.
Yeah, I reckon a lot of that would have gone on the stunt performers, because seeing Gabriel running down the fire escape, I'm like, this legit feels like something out of like a Spider-Man comic book. It was like he was fighting Electro or something if he went to the cat house.
Yeah. And then you had, what was his name? Officer Kakoa Shaw?
Yeah, I think that's this guy's name. Yeah.
And
Sexy guy, yeah.
Yeah. He jumps off the fire escape and just lands straight onto a dumpster lid and then onto the ground. And just the impact and like realness.
He's perfectly
of that.
fine afterwards.
Yeah, well.
They chase through the hidden city, don't they? Like the city underneath.
That scene was really cool.
There's one in Glasgow under Central. It was called Grahamston. It was like a village, but like it got lost because we built Central Station over it.
Can you still go through it?
I think they might do tours. But
Yeah,
I'm not
they
sure.
do tours of Central Station.
Oh, we've got some special ideas in the works. I think we should go take a look down there.
But I'm not sure. I don't know if they go down, but I would love to. Like that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I sort of underground cities. I'm kind of fascinated by. Like you can call me a dork all you want, but I still believe in that Atlantis is real.
Oh, that would be nice.
Because it makes sense. It must be, because sea levels are rising. So like it's not hard to believe that there could be a city underwater.
Oh, there's so many cities underwater. Yeah. But not people living there still.
Or are there?
I don't know. Where do all those people
I would
live?
hope so. Because that would solve a lot of issues.
We can go and meet the seamen. I know them well.
Who's? Name them. You love semen so much? Name 3.
You know, like Gabriel, I've created a monster and he needs to be stopped. I reckon if me and you were like a Gabriel Maddie situation, when we suppress you into my skull, I'm just saying a bunch of puns until you break out and then just start taking over my comedy sets.
You know, Kate, when I was young, I begged like,
What is happening? Why are you just changing tones so quickly? And your little linked hands, you know, Kate.
when I was young, I begged my father to let me go to your homeland. I said, please, Canada.
Salute that.
Kate, you're enjoying it, but I have to deal with it every week.
Oh, I have one of my own Allens. I understand this pain. And
They're breeding.
My
They're
Allen
everywhere.
knows who he is. Yeah. Huh?
They're breeding. They're fucking everywhere.
Yeah, a psychic told me I was a duck in a past life that died of obesity. So not much has changed, Kate, because I still love getting bread.
Yeah.
Well, I got assessed for autism. Did I say this?
Yeah, you said this before.
They said I was too friendly to have autism. So yeah,
which I take issue with, because I think I'm friendly.
Yeah, I think there's just still so much of the medical diagnoses, or what do you call it? Like the things you need to hit a diagnosis is still stuck in old ways of thinking. Like even for ADHD, it was really like very male skewing hyperactivity things of like, did you do this or did you do that? And you're just like, well, kind of, or because I had good grades when I was a kid, it was a lot, I get like harder to on paper diagnose me. You're like, but just because I had good grades doesn't mean I was able to pay attention. But I mask so well and like, anxious about it that I will like make up for absolutely piecing out for an entire class and then come to and be like anyway, doesn't matter. We don't. I'm already diagnosed. We don't need to. That's fine.
Does Gabriel have autism and his hyperfocus is killing? That's why he likes killing so much.
No, Dean.
that's a special interest.
Yeah,
Not trains, just murder.
I think.
Should clarify, I am autistic and I don't mean all of these things.
Oh yeah, one time Dean got on stage, did all his autism jokes and got off without mentioning that he was autistic. It was fantastic.
I forgot to mention that I was queer and autistic and did queer autistic
You think
jokes.
people couldn't tell? You think they walked off being like, what a weird guy. What a weird normal guy. He should have been telling those jokes.
Well, I say that, like, I remember when I walked into the rehearsal for Wizard of Oz, I felt like the straightest person in the room.
Yeah.
Because musical theatre kids, wow, they are a different level of intensity.
Yeah,
Gabriel
yeah.
would definitely be a musical theatre kid if he was allowed to thrive.
I think Gabriel is like the most normie person because he looks at society and is like, "God, get everyone out of here," and he's right, you know. So I don't think Gabriel's creative enough, to be honest, to be neurodivergent because
You think turning a medical science trophy into a weapon isn't creative?
it already looked exactly like a weapon. It already looked like a huge shank. He barely did anything. When he just tied his mom up to a beam in his attic, get more creative, like, you know.
I mean, there's a Buzz Lightyear toy over there. Could we turn that into a horror weapon somehow?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can think of somewhere I could put it.
Oh, Jesus.
To kill you? Yeah, me too.
Yeah, maybe.
It's quite big.
Nah,
I don't know how prolapsed
manage.
Uranus is, but I don't think that much.
it's very anti-lapse.
The scene in the prison is also cool as fuck. Like
yeah.
when you see those
When
women in
she
the prison.
tears her own skull apart, that's a beautiful moment for women. Everywhere.
Please expand on this.
I
Kate.
love I love like the king lesbian that was in the
Yeah.
the jail who just kept throwing the other women towards Gabriel, like, nope, get her.
Yeah.
She got the worst death of all. Like, I knew that was going to happen.
Good.
It was, that was the whole. I mean, it sucked to see so many women die, but they shouldn't have been bullying her. You know,
Yeah.
that unleashed Gabe. Or would Gabe have already. Gabe wouldn't leave a room of alive people untouched.
No, he wouldn't. Gabe just wants to kill things.
And they needed to get the guard over there. So I feel like even if they hadn't been bullying her, Gabe would have found a way to start shit, you know?
Now I'm just imagining a version of this movie where Gabriel is played by Gabe Featherstone.
There'd be a lot more singing.
A lot more Shrek songs.
A lot more three-piece suits.
Oh, excellent, yeah. I do love Gabe quite a lot. He's a very funny guy.
Yes.
We should get him on this podcast at some point.
Are they making Shrek 5 yet?
No, I heard they were making a reboot of it, which sounds worse.
For fuck's sake.
They're making Chicken Run 2, which is a real shame. I just wish they would stop ruining IP. Please. It was a perfect movie. Chicken Run's a perfect movie.
Well, they're making a fifth Toy Story now. They're probably going to make a third Monsters, Inc. film, and Disney just wants to like make TV series of all of them.
I know. What if James Wan was directing Chicken Run 2?
I would pay to see that. If he was making it like Saw, then yes. Like, because my favorite scene in Chicken Run is when they're trapped in the sort of the pie making machine, and it's like
Yes.
something out of a Saw film.
100%.
I would love to see James Wan have his own take on that.
And have the open to the realm of claymation.
You could have all the
Anything
chickens
could
getting
happen.
like all the chickens could get tortured, and then at the end it's just like an ad for KFC. What KFC?
It's somehow just the end is just all of us eating chicken and like and biting our own fingers off, just eating ourselves.
Oh, that's mental.
Yeah.
Do you like the final battle with Gabriel? Like the whole
The John Wick?
Yeah, it's very John Wicky, but I like the whole thing of you think he's killed them, and then because I generally I was so upset when they had both died.
Oh, yes,
and then
I
it
think-
turns out that Maddie has turned the tables on him and like trapped him inside her mind.
Yeah.
I thought that was very cool. That was like Batman and the Joker kind
She
of stuff.
gaslit him.
He was gaslighting her
He was.
all the time.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
Caught on very quickly. Yeah, it was good because you really don't want them to die, and then when it like the whole room change happens, it's a satisfying ending. I do think we are missing, like, you had the good, like, she's like, I've got control over him, and then you see the electricity go a bit, and you're like, great, he's still there, but, like, you know, the battle will continue. But I feel like we missed out on that final scene of, like, the cops having some, you know, some argument or something, but, like, a fun thing. You also did wonder, you're like, are they okay? Like, I genuinely, for my brain, want to know... I want more storylines to be tied up at the end. I'm like, Kakoa Shaw, is he fine? Does he make out with anyone? Him and the sister, you know.
Or does he realize how beautiful she is after she took her glasses off?
Yeah.
Like, she's a woman.
Oh, we don't need to Breakfast Club it. Like, that's my least favorite scene from the Breakfast Club, when Ali Sheedy is given a makeover. Like, she's fine on her own, leave her.
Yeah.
Again, I've...
Granted, she was putting dandruff on a painting, and that was weird.
That was a lot.
Have you seen the Breakfast Club?
no, again, that's what I was going to say. I've seen The Human Centipede like 3 times, and I've never seen The Breakfast Club, The Godfather, The Lion King.
The Lion King?
Yeah, the last one I get, like, oh my god, you've not seen The Lion King?
I mean, I think it's overrated, but yeah, watch it. That's a weird endorsement
Yeah,
for the
that's-
Yeah,
Lion
I
King.
don't. I have no strong feelings actually. I just like saying the Lion King.
What was the line about?
Have we got any true or falses?
Moving on.
We'll see what you're lying
Dean's
about.
patience is wearing thin.
Okay, we have 5, and then you just get to discuss if they're real or if I made them up. The first one. Nicolas Cage cited Malignant as an inspiration for his Dracula in Renfield.
I'm going to say true. Nicolas Cage is a weird guy.
I'm going to say false just because I'm not sure about the lining up of years that they were filmed.
It was true.
Fuck!
But it was actually going to come out in, I think,
It was going to
early
come out in 2020
Yeah.
March, but they put it off. But still, when was Renfrew filmed then?
Renfrew.
When was it? Was it Renfield?
That's where you're from, Renfrew. Renfrew.
I don't want to see Dracula
just
going
so-
through Renfrew. Like, if he's sucking the blood out of those locals, then he's going to kill himself. Like,
Second true or false. Madison's patient file was copied from the wiki article for Craniopagus parasiticus.
I'm going to
What's
say false because I
that?
don't know what
Our
that
condition
is.
where, like, when you have, like, something stuck on your head.
I'm going to say false because I'm not convinced this is a real thing.
True.
Yeah, it was true.
No,
no,
one all.
Oh, no, it's true. Like, that happens. Like, in the womb, like, twins can get absorbed and they can just have, like, another head stuck on their head. It's like, have you ever seen those girls from America where, like, it's 2 independent heads, but they share the same body? Like, they must have the most awkward wanks. Like, Duati, aye, go ahead. And, like, if one of them commits a crime, who goes to jail?
Didn't you say this as well? Like, when we did the Human Centipede, if one of them's a paedophile, did all 3 of them go to jail?
Yeah, that too. But I also
I
just
don't
wanted
think that. I don't.
Oh,
I don't think that is the biggest concern of theirs.
I just wanted to make the pun the Human Centipedophile. I can't remember if I got to. Yes, that one was true.
Okay, cool.
Number 3. At the end of the film, Gabriel calls her Madison, not Emily, showing that she has taken back control.
I can't remember if that was in there. I'm gonna say true because
Who
that's
called her
cool.
Madison instead of Emily?
Gabriel, when they're arguing at the end.
Aye, because he does call her Emily throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, because that's her real name or her original name. Yeah, I don't feel like he would never. God, this one's good, Alan. You son of a bitch. You fucking son of a bitch. You got it. You said true?
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'll say
say true.
false just to equal.
That one's true.
That's good.
Fourthly, I alluded to this earlier, but James Wan said he got the idea for Gabriel's movement while watching a Michael Jackson concert.
True.
Billie Jean is not.
False.
Yeah, I made that one up.
Yes!
Oh, well, I've seen how Gabriel moves. He's anything but a smooth criminal. Like,
Which is kind of like, it's what's so attractive about him.
But like Michael Jackson, he also was inside a young child.
oh Jesus. You know what? He's been dead for 13 years. Fuck it.
Well, has it been that
Kate
long?
couldn't comment because she was eating so crazy that she wasn't involved in that at all.
And finally, the respective actors from Madison and Kekoa Shaw made their film debuts in Bollywood films.
Why did I feel like I read something about this?
That seems too weird to not be false.
She grew up in Portugal or Spain.
Famous for their Bollywood movies.
Well, this is, but I'm like, so it's not true.
I'm gonna say true. It seems too weird to be false.
That one is true.
That's so wild.
Gabriel would be right at home
I'll
as the villain
say
in a Bollywood film.
she has a really good American accent. Accents bug me when actors aren't when they're not good at
How many shitty Canadian accents have you heard in TV shows?
I mean, Canadian's pretty easy because we're like generally American sounding unless you're from the East Coast, in which it's like just
But when they make
soft
the
Irish.
emphasis on like A and that kind of stuff, I imagine.
Oh,
that
when
gets
it's
them.
overdone, when it's like, but it's more the opposite, right? It's more of English or any other accents trying to do general North American, and they speak like this. Isn't it fun to get some of breakfast? And like, oh my God, what is that, scram? And you're like, I get it. skewer us, but just be better. I want to be skewered rightfully, respectfully, honestly.
You're such a fiend.
It's the opposite for me because we're like, I see Scottish accents on BBC things. It's kind of like Drew McIntyre from the WWE. It's like that fake Scottish kind of thing. And also David Tennant, who played the Doctor, would have been so much better if he was using a Scottish accent.
I cannot fucking stand the kind of really awkward Scottish accents you get and things like, oh, I'm just going down to see a friend. How are you? It just doesn't sound natural.
It's so weird.
What was the latest one? It was like the Black Mirror episode. And I think Fern Brady tweeted about it being like, just let us be. And this is why, anyway, in a slightly separate discussion of like why we want representation of like people to like we want gay actors to play gay characters, not just because they can play them better. Maybe someone else is a great actor, but it's for like to have proper representation. So if as a queer person you watch someone and you go, God, a queer person wouldn't do that. But if that actor's queer, you'd be like, well, I guess, that's one way of representing it. Because, it almost just covers your base of being like, well, we had a Scottish actor do that. So I get, they were in charge of their own Scottish accent. You're like, well, I guess it's all right,
I wonder if parasitic twins watch this movie thinking, wow, that is terrible representation of us.
Absolutely. Oh my God, imagine if you were like, I absorbed my twin at birth and we're fucking getting Malignant. Thanks, James Wan.
It would make having a one-man band really easy, I think, if you were a parasitic twin.
Gabriel has no sense of rhythm. Are you kidding me? It would be a pretty good, he would be a good vocal, right? Just all through the radio. It'd be pretty sick.
So we should probably get into our favorite kill segment. There's a lot to choose from here.
Hell. See, I usually note down every kill, but then like in the last 20 minutes, I was just like, no, fuck this. Because there were so many of them getting killed.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I'm going to say the head woman in the prison, we're getting her eyes gouged out, is my favorite kill.
I had to look away.
Yeah.
It was a lot. But same scene for me. She punches right through a woman.
Oh, yeah, right through her fucking stomach.
Right through her abdomen, through her spine, through just a single punch. And you're like, the strength of, I'm so sorry, I keep punching into your camera.
It's like something out of Alien, isn't it? Yeah. Because I can't.
Wait. React? I can see I'm aiming perfectly. But yeah, it was just that was the most epic, like single punch for the skinniest white woman to just have the strength of another skinny white male inside of her.
Yeah, the first kill's also pretty good with the boyfriend character. Yeah. But you don't really understand what's going on, so I don't know if I can count.
I know, and then you're kind of like, what exactly happened to his neck? But it's epic.
Yeah, I thought the one at the end was kind of smart, how it added the electricity into that guy having a pacemaker that explodes.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah,
that was fucking smart.
When he said, "Oh, my pacemaker is burning," I was like, "Oh, fuck!"
And then it was great. That was a good one.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite kill, or was it that one? Yeah.
I don't know. Like there were so many in that prison scene that were just amazing. Like there's the one where the woman just gets her face stamped on, her eye like pops out. Oh.
It's funny because you think like there should be more in the cop scene, but I think it's less kill ones in that, or it's darker so you can't see. And then there's something about the prison, and it feels so like, what is that musical with like lip shits? The Four Women in Jail, that musical when it's the Four Women in Jail.
I
the
don't
musical.
know that one.
And it's like
I feel like you've just made this up.
Lip shits. Guys, this is fucking real. Come on. Anyway, it felt like that. It felt like this really overly fake giant prison Grease style like musical theater setup. But then everything was so well lit that all the kills they were so visual because you could really see them one by one.
I would love to see a Malignant musical. Gabriel and Maddie having a duet.
Oh my God, it would be so many good duets of like, that's how you would reveal it too. Just like in the film where the camera just goes around and you see like, and this would be like, she'd be like, and what would I do? And then you'd hear this voice being like, through the radio. Yeah. I just want to be on my own, Fucking yes, let's do it.
You work in TV. Let's make it happen.
Well, this is a stage thing, all right? TV's not ready for this, but a stage.
So
is.
this is going to be a really weird one to rate because when I think about how many Big Pumpkins we're going to give this, you don't know the whole Big Pumpkins rating thing, do we?
No.
You know that's our nickname for Peter Bell, Big Pumpkin.
No.
So the rating system on this podcast is Big Pumpkins. I'm going to give this 4.5 out of Big Pumpkins because I don't think it's quite perfect, but I judge perfect movies by like it's how well does it do what it sets out to do, and this set out to be a bonkers Giallo/B movie, and I think it does it very well. Gives us a really cool new horror villain. I would love to see more from this world.
Yeah. Oh, see, the first time I saw it, I gave it 4 because even though I loved it, I kind of found a lot of the darker stuff that I mentioned about the abuse a bit too jarring. But now this time I expected it. I was like, I don't care. This is amazing. So I'm getting 4.5 Big Pumpkins.
4.5 Big Pumpkins.
I'm gonna give it four Big Pumpkins.
It's so funny when we get a guest that who's not aware of it.
Yeah, I've thought about it, and I think 4 Big Pumpkins is the is enough pumpkins for this film because I think it for me it just didn't play with the line enough. Like there were so many big laugh points, but like I think there wasn't it made me slightly unsure of whether I should be laughing, and I want like full confidence of
You
laughing
want like
with
more
James.
camp.
Well, if you're gonna go camp, go full camp. But there was just sometimes, it's the hardest tone I think to strike. Is like being aware of he's made so many horror movies, being aware of that, but also trying to, and there is a good world and there is a good story, but also like she drives up to the children's hospital and parks 1 foot from the edge of a cliff and then just gets out. And like, there's so many, and you're just like, Yeah.
So if Gabriel was gay then, would it be like, oh, is he like that?
I don't like that.
Like, yeah.
And Alan can say that because he's gay. Well,
Representation.
I think that'll more or less
queer.
wrap us up. Kate, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure having you. We'll happily have you back on this podcast anytime you want. Have you got anything you want to plug? Any cool Halloween stuff coming up?
Oh gosh, just the nature of the tradition itself. It's been such a long day. I just want to shout out to Halloween.
I mean, it's a great movie from the 70s.
But like Canadian Halloween. You know, you guys don't fucking do it here, all right?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no. We like, I want full dress up Halloween. Like,
we need to hang out more because I agree.
Yeah, and trick or treating, like you do.
Okay,
you're weird if you don't go trick or treating
because I'm over 12.
Well, not you, but like I think it should be more normal that kids go fully. Like it was such a big part of growing up, especially in the countryside. That was your time to be like, there are ghosts in everyone's lawns, and I lived next to a cemetery, so it was real for me. And then we'd go around. We'd have to drive around to like our closest neighbors, which took 3 hours because everyone lived on farms, and you have to stay half an hour to talk to everyone because it was a neighborhood catch-up, and they'd have bags with your name written on it because we knew there would only be like 6 kids you knew who was coming to your house because like that you just knew everyone who lived around, and it was just like the best time because you just go to Jane's and everyone gave out full-size chocolate bars.
That's really cute.
That's really cool.
So I want to shout out giving me full-size chocolate bars and dressing me up.
And also you're on another movie podcast in the studio with Billy Kirkwood, the two Chris's.
Tall Chris, hot Chris.
Tall Chris, hot Chris. I mean, I think they're both handsome in their own ways. I mean, there's Chris Thorburn, and then there's Chris Thorburn's mustache, and then there's Chris Scott. Chris Thorburn's mustache is a separate person. I am convinced of it. And also Rick Mullins.
Rick Mullins, yeah. Watch bad movies with good comedians. Great comedians, even. Fantastic pod. I love doing it, and it's great to open up my world of movies because you can't just watch good ones, guys. It doesn't help you grow.
That's why we did the Human Centipede last week. So
underrated masterpiece. Have you seen the Human Centipede?
No, thank you.
You're missing out. There's 3 of them. Not in the Centipede. There's 3 of the films.
Did they have that much story to tell?
Yes. But it actually gets very meta in the second one.
I just feel it. Do you know what I mean? When you're just like, just get out of here,
You don't have to be. You can be at the front. Your mouth can be untouched. You can be the one that gets to eat all the food. What?
A lot of lettuce and crisps.
Yeah. I would like to not do that, please. I'll do any other horror film.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And where can we find you on socials?
I'm at Kate the Hammer on everything, and sometimes I remember to post. So
All right,
that's
class.
great.
And Alan, anything coming up? We have, of course, got the Halloween Tenant show coming up. We're not revealing what we're dressed as, but I believe at this point we still have Roscoe McClelland headlining, and we're working to get a lineup ready for that. It's going to be extremely fun.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it so much.
Yes, come see us on the 30th of October.
Yes, there will be a
Attend.
ticket link somewhere. And
Maybe.
Anna, where can we find you on socials?
Alan J Comedy on anything important. And if you want to know more of my shit film opinions, you can follow me on Letterboxd at Train to Bussy.
Sorry, what was that? It's Train to Bussy?
Bussy. Like,
Right.
there's a really good Korean horror film called Train to Busan, and I like Bussy, so Train to Bussy. Do you know what Bussy is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course you
And
do.
you can find me at Dean T. Byrne pretty much everywhere. That's BEIRNE. And how is it pronounced, Alan?
Biryani.
Thank you very much. And you can follow
Are you
the...
Italian?
I actually am part Italian.
Dean T Bussy.
And you can find the pod at BS Fears Pod on Twitter and Blood, Sweat, and Fears Pod everywhere else. I think we're just keeping up a really good streak of really good episodes. I've had a really good time with this one.
Thank you so much for having me on.
It was
This is
absolutely
good.
great having you on, Kate.
It was amazing to force my flatmates to watch this movie with me. And it was better on second watch. Like, you could enjoy you because you were in on it. So it did feel, I think I might have to watch it a few more times.
Fuck yeah. Well, we'll definitely get you back on for any other
Amazing.
movies in the future. Thanks so much for watching us, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.